All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most important symbols on the internet. We are unlocking the secrets of HTTPS, and we're going to find out exactly how it keeps your entire digital life safe and sound online.
You've seen it, right? A million times. That little padlock sitting up there in your browser's address bar. We're all told it means we're safe, but what is it actually doing? I mean, how does that tiny little icon become the guardian of our passwords and our credit card numbers?
Well, that's pretty much its entire job. That lock represents a digital barrier, a shield that protects everything you send to a website from anyone who might be trying to listen in. It's the difference between a private conversation and shouting your secrets in a crowded room.
So let's do it. Let's get behind that icon. We're going to break down the incredible technology that makes all of this secure communication possible. Let's unlock its secrets together.
Okay, so first things first, we've got to understand the basic problem here. The internet, by its very design, wasn't built with trust in mind. You can think of it like a giant, open room where anyone can overhear what you're saying.
And that's where this whole HTTP versus HTTPS thing comes in. See, regular old HTTP is like sending a postcard. Anyone who handles it on its journey can just flip it over and read your message, plain and simple. But when you see HTTPS, that S, that's the magic letter. It stands for secure, and it's all thanks to a protocol called TLS, which basically turns that postcard into a locked, tamper-proof steel box.
So, this whole trust issue, it really just boils down to two big questions. First, privacy. Is our conversation actually private, or can someone listen in? And second, identity. How in the world do we know we're really talking to our bank and not some scammer who built the perfect copy of our bank's website? HTTPS has to solve both.
So how do you solve problems like that? Well, the answer lies in something that sounds like it's straight out of a spy movie: cryptography, the science of secret codes.
Cryptography is basically the engine that makes all of this work. At its heart, it's just the practice of scrambling information so that only the person who's supposed to read it can unscramble it. It gives us confidentiality, so no one can read our stuff, integrity, so it can't be messed with, and authentication, so we know who we're talking to.
Now, encryption isn't just one thing. It kind of comes in two main flavors. On one side, you've got symmetric encryption. This is the simple one. You use the exact same key to both lock and unlock your data, just like your house key. Then you've got the really clever one, asymmetric encryption. This one uses a matched pair of keys, a public key you can hand out to literally anyone, and a private key that you guard with your life.
Okay, so here's the catch, and there's always a catch, right? There's a big trade-off. Symmetric is super fast, perfect for encrypting a ton of data, but it's got a massive headache of a problem. How do you safely give the other person that one secret key to begin with? If you just send it over the internet, a bad guy can just snatch it. Asymmetric encryption, on the other hand, solves that problem perfectly, but it's a lot slower.
And that brings us to this really brilliant solution. Why not just use the best of both? That's exactly what modern security does. It uses the slow, super secure asymmetric method for just one quick job, to safely create and agree on a brand new, temporary secret key. And once that's done, both sides switch over to the lightning-fast symmetric method for the rest of the chat. It is the perfect combination of security and speed.
All right, so encryption, that solves the privacy problem. Check. But what about that other issue, identity? How do you know that the server you're talking to so securely is actually who it says it is? Well, for that, a website needs some ID.
Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a passport. When you go to another country, you show your passport to prove you are who you say you are. A website does the exact same thing online, but it uses something called a digital certificate. It's its official ID for the digital world.
So what exactly is this digital passport? It's really just an electronic file that links a website's identity, like its domain name, to its public key. And here's the crucial part. A website can't just make its own. It has to be issued and digitally signed by a trusted third party, called a certificate authority, or a CA. You can think of CAs as the passport offices of the internet.
But wait a second. How does your browser know to trust the passport office itself? That is a great question, and the answer is something called the chain of trust. See, your browser and your operating system come with a list of super trusted, top-level CAs already installed. These are the root certificates. These highly guarded roots sign off on other, intermediate certificates who can then issue the final certificate to the website you're visiting. As long as your browser can follow that chain of signatures all the way back up to a root it already trusts, it knows the website's ID is legit. Okay, let's recap. We've got all the pieces on the board now. We've got privacy, thanks to our hybrid encryption, and we've got identity, thanks to digital certificates. Now it's time to put it all together in the process that kicks off every single secure connection, the secure handshake.
And this all happens in what's called the TLS handshake. It's this super fast, perfectly choreographed dance that happens in like the blink of an eye. Your browser starts by saying client hello and lists all the security stuff it can do. The server replies with a server hello, picking the best options they both support. Then the server shows its passport, its digital certificate. Your browser checks it out, makes sure it's valid. Once that's confirmed, they use the server's public key to secretly create that temporary session key. A quick final message, and boom, handshake complete. The secure channel is open for business.
And you know, this whole handshake process just keeps getting better. The newest version, TLS 1.3, is a huge leap forward. It's way faster, cutting the whole back and forth in half. It's also way more secure, throwing out a bunch of old, vulnerable methods. And it makes a feature called Perfect Forward Secrecy mandatory. And this is awesome. It means that every single time you connect, you create a unique, one-time use key. So even if a hacker stole the server's main key years from now, they still couldn't go back and decrypt your old conversations. Pretty cool, right?
So, okay, that's all the technical stuff, the nuts and bolts. But what does this actually mean for you and me, just browsing the web every day? Let's take a look at where things stand today.
You know, this technology didn't just appear overnight. It's been evolving for decades. The original protocol was called SSL, but it turned out to have some serious security flaws, so it was replaced by TLS way back in 1999. And we've just kept improving it ever since, all the way up to TLS 1.3 today. Now, all those older, weaker versions are officially considered obsolete.
And this isn't some niche thing either. The move to better security is happening fast. Already, almost 43% of all websites have switched over to the latest and greatest TLS 1.3. That's a huge shift, and it shows how seriously the industry is taking our security.
And there's a really good reason for this big push. This quote from the NSA just says it all. Using an old, outdated security setup gives you a false sense of security. It's like putting a flimsy padlock on a bank vault. It might look secure from a distance, but in reality, it offers no real protection at all. So at the end of the day, that little lock icon, it represents this incredible, complex system of trust and privacy built over decades. It's pretty amazing. But it also leaves us with one last lingering question. All the security we rely on today is built on math problems that are just too hard for our current computers to solve. But what happens when a totally new type of computer comes along, like a quantum computer, that can crack them in an instant? The race to keep our data safe, it never really ends.